Union is stepping in after NBC4 investigates exposed allegations of a hostile work environment at the Reynoldsburg Division of Police.
Our Jamie Ostroff has been on top of this story for months, speaking with officers about dangerously low morale and city leadership that says it's not a big problem.
So Jamie just sat down with the president of the Fraternal Order of Police. We are interested in what he had to say. Jamie.
Well, he said there is indeed a big problem. FOP Lodge 9 President Jeff Simpson says he saw our reporting on claims of unequal discipline and fears of retaliation. So he went to the Reynoldsburg Police headquarters to see for himself what was really going on. He tells me what he saw left him deeply troubled.
In late December,
there are bound to be a few people, keyword a few, a handful of people that aren't happy and don't agree with change and everything like that. I understand that. But when you have the majority of people looking at there's a problem, then there's a problem.
6 Reynoldsburg police officers spoke with me about what they called a toxic work environment under the condition that I keep them anonymous.
I saw the interviews. That's when I was first made aware.
Prior to that report, FOP Lodge 9 President Jeff Simpson had only heard what he calls rumblings.
You get rumblings, right? It's hard as even a union leader or a police leader to ever be totally accepted, liked.
But it was a new year with new union representation.
It was time to go out there, meet the people, let them know who their new grievance representative was. So I went out there to actually see what was going on myself, to get a temperature for myself.
On March 8th, Simpson visited a morning roll call at Reynoldsburg Police headquarters, which is allowed by the union's contract. He tells me leadership was aware he was coming. Behind closed doors, Simpson says he asked a group of more than a dozen officers what was going on.
My idea was, my play was to hear from the members, approach the chief and say, hey, this is what I'm getting. Not naming names or anything like that, but I think 20 minutes into the roll call, I could tell that this issue was real and tangible.
But Simpson says what disturbed him the most was how the meeting was ended by Deputy Chief Rhonda Grizel.
We were abruptly told to stop, and not in a nice way, in a very unprofessional manner. And the officers were herded out, chastised, yelled at, and the meeting was over.
Simpson was reluctant to go into detail.
This was not, hey, let's wrap it up. It was a turbulent reaction.
Telling me he doesn't want to make the story about himself. But he did confront Grizel after officers left and readily admits tempers escalated.
Was there cursing?
Yes, there was cursing.
Name calling?
There was cursing on both parts, no name calling.
She threatened to have you arrested.
That is correct. That is correct. And I wasn't going anywhere. We should never resort to that. I'm not above the law, but I'm allowed to meet with my members.
And after speaking with Chief Curtis Baker,
it's my impression that the hills are pretty much dug in.
Simpson says he still has concerns.
No one's ever going to be perfect, but this has reached a chronic point now to where there's no doubt in my mind that what the officers are complaining about, this cannot be dismissed as a few people that just don't like my policies, which sometimes that is the case. This here is unequivocally not the case. This is a case here where there's a culture issue with leadership that these officers are being treated like dirt.
I asked Chief Baker and Deputy Chief Grizel for their version of events, and Baker told me that at the time of Simpson's meeting, there were 4 active school zones and 2 calls for service that needed to be covered. He disputed Simpson's characterization of Grizel's actions as, quote, dehumanizing, telling me, quote, Deputy Chief Grizel has an obligation to ensure our officers are responding to citizens' requests for police response. I fully support DC Grizel and her actions on that day. Simpson says he does plan to follow up with Baker and Reynoldsburg's mayor.